Chapter 42. Time mark present times herbal remedy times Tinkle times Blink versus General Telekinesis ESP. Narrator. So leading the way just outside of 4K Leo Bissot's main entry gate was General Telekinesis ESP, being followed by Blink, Tinkle, Herbal Remedy, and Time Mark Present. ESP suddenly stops her lead and made our four heroines come to an abrupt stop. So first to speak up was Tinkle. Tinkle. Come dance with this bitch named Tinkle, Telekinesis ESP. For I show first initiative, cryogenic polar bear claw, humanoid form, and bestiary mode. Narrator. Now with cryogenic polar bear claw and bestiary mode, he does have a hearable voice in battle to villain and heroines. Cryogenic bestiary mode. Now listen well, villain general. I, one of the forefathers of Gia, cryogenic polar bear claw, had decided to give the woman named Tinkle power that suits equal to that of any man. Telekinesis. So cryogenic, you say? Well, let's get this party started. Rank 1 ability, mental movement. Narrator. What mental movement did for telekinesis was allow her, as her name suggests, the ability to move objects by mental power or other non-physical means. Tinkle. Cryogenic humanoid form, itemized creation, boxing gloves, my zero hands. Narrator. So telekinesis ESP's mental movement started picking up concrete debris from within 4K Leo Bissot's inner city left by the first two battles. She does projectile city debris at Tinkle. Tinkle in cryogenic's humanoid form, consisting of these characteristics: polar bear ice claws on her hands and feet, and a polar bear hide dangling from her back, finishing off her attire an open polar bear's mouth as a helmet with upper and lower fanged jaws. Tinkle then began to box all projectile debris thrown her way, loving every second of ESP's attack, and crushing all thrown debris as well. Seeing Tinkle ward off her initiative, Telekinesis decided to up her technique. What she did was use mental movement on actual skyscrapers from 4K Leo Bissot and began to projectile entire buildings, put out 4K Jock and Rock surface towards Tinkle. Cryogenic, bestiary, and Blink, you guys are up to bat with me. Cryogenic. My size should show fit for what be on our way. Blink. Alright, I've been itching to try out my new techniques. Soul Force Blink. Narrator. What does Soul Force Blink do as functionality to technique, you ask? Being just like Wing Force of miniature air cannons, Soul Force Blink came from within Blink's mind, heart, soul, and body, thus making a larger force of an air cannon. So mental movement began projectile of entire skyscrapers at Tinkle, cryogenic bestiary mode, and Blink. Tinkle and cryogenic bestiary mode, both consisting of the same characteristics, began to box using their zero hands. Only difference was their sizes. Blink stood back to back with Tinkle as she held her ground, boxing away flying pieces of buildings, and using Soul Force Blink, she did the same, blowing away flying pieces of buildings with a large air cannon, Soul Force, from her chest. Cryogenic bestiary mode had no problem standing on his own and took the main brunt of the largest buildings thrown their way by mental movement. So Telekinesis ESP saw the trio hold off her mental movement with ease and decided to up her gamefly. Telekinesis. Cryogenic polar bear claw and you two bitches seem deemed worthy of my rank 2 technique. Get ready for my telepath. Narrator. What did telepath do for telekinesis, you ask? As with her alias suggests, ESP, extrasensory perception, allowed her the communication of thoughts and ideas between her enemies. Telepath also allowed her to control an enemy by taking over their thoughts and ideas. So while still using her mental movement as a distraction, Telekinesis ESP pinpointed out Tinkle and used her telepath. Tinkle, not knowing what was invading her mind, was quickly succumbed to a complete mind takeover by Telekinesis' telepath. Thus, Telekinesis ESP talked through Tinkle's mouth using her voice, even though ESP made no verbal remarks from her own. Tinkle under ESP's telepath. I am slave once more. Hear my fury roar. Cryogenic, I come for you. Be ready, for now I see you be the strongest adversary that I must face. Do not ask questions. I'll tell you straight up what it is. A humanoid version versus a bestiary form. Narrator. So the mind-controlled Tinkle began boxing against Cryogenic. bestiary mode with no perception to even recall of her own actions while she was attacking. Now, with Tinkle in humanoid form keeping cryogenic bestiary mode at bay, it was time for Time Arc Present to step in and battle dance step with a former colleague. The battle dance step of the Battle of Bitches commences on the next installment of chapters.